News this hour, a verdict in the involuntary manslaughter trial of Dr. Conrad Murray.
We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Conrad Robert Murray, guilty of the crime of involuntary manslaughter.
Coming up,
do you feel that you did everything you could?
Claims that the promoters behind Michael Jackson's tour were responsible for Murray's negligence.
Is there a camera I can look into so the public can check if I'm telling the truth or not? Yet.
Guys don't put all this high-tech gear on their face, only to go home and wreck it with just any razor. Upgrade to the Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Precision equipment with less tug, less pull for unrivaled comfort, even on sensitive skin. So you can go get it. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Google, what is glossophobia?
Glossophobia, or speech anxiety, is the fear of public speaking.
This is preeminently the time to speak the truth frankly and boldly. This is no unsolvable problem if we face it wisely and courageously. Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
At Residence Inn, you have room to spread out, room to play, room to chill, room to dream sweetly, and room to unwind. Because it's not a room, it's a residence. Residence Inn.
Some people like to pretend a flood could never happen to them, and that their homeowner's insurance protects them. It doesn't. Stop pretending. Only flood insurance covers floods. Visit floodsmart.gov/pretend to learn your risk.
Lupus has many symptoms. Yet, a survey suggests that half of Americans living with lupus don't share all their symptoms with their doctor. They just put on a brave face. Over time, though, some symptoms may indicate organ damage, even the ones that don't feel like your lupus. Every symptom matters. And now on lupuscheck.com, there's a symptom checklist you can complete today and bring to your next appointment. Because ignoring symptoms won't help your lupus.
But sharing them with your doctor just might.
Sailing through the heart of cities and landscapes with Viking, you'll see things differently. You'll get closer to iconic landmarks, to local life, to cultural treasures. It's a feeling that only a river can give you, that only Viking can give you. These are journeys that will forever change your perspective on the world, and perhaps even yourself. Viking River Cruises, exploring the world in comfort.
Closed captioning brought to you by CardioViva. Love your heart naturally.
It's a fact. Cholesterol levels affect your risk of heart disease. CardioViva is a new probiotic that can help keep cholesterol levels healthy without a prescription. CardioViva. Love your heart naturally.
The death of Michael Jackson is on trial again. This time in a civil court. The jury heard opening statements in late April. His mother and his children filed a wrongful death lawsuit alleging AEG Live, the promoter of Michael's This Is It concerts, hired Dr. Murray and was responsible for his criminal actions.
It'll be for the jury to decide.
Kevin Boyle is the attorney for Katherine Jackson.
The AEG defendants were negligent in hiring, retaining, or supervising Dr. Conrad Murray, and that ultimately led to the death of Michael Jackson.
AEG Live claims that Dr. Murray was working for Jackson and was not employed by the company. Marvin Putnam is a defense attorney for AEG Live.
I can't quite understand how they're making the claim they're making, given Conrad Murray's own statement. 2 days after Michael's passing, he said, I was hired by Michael Jackson. I had worked for Michael Jackson for years.
The Jackson family claims AEG Live instructed Murray, quote, not to look out for Jackson's best interests, but rather to do whatever medical procedures were calculated to get Jackson to perform. Their so-called smoking gun is an email from AEG Live co-CEO Paul Gongaware sent to the show director. The Jacksons believe the email proves AEG employed Murray.
It really is a smoking gun. It's probably one of the most important pieces of evidence that Michael Jackson's attorneys have, that AEG supervised, directed, forced, employed Dr. Conrad Murray to provide Michael Jackson drugs so that he could perform.
At 4:11 p.m.
In a taped deposition played for the jury, Gongaware was confronted with the email he sent.
It says, we want to remind him that it is AEG, not MJ, who is paying his salary. We want him to understand what is expected of him. Did you write that email?
I don't recall.
He came across as suffering some sort of executive amnesia, if you will.
The Jackson family, in looking at that email, believes that AEG made it clear to Dr. Murray that he was supposed to make sure that Michael Jackson performed no matter what.
Hold for applause, slow umbrella fade out.
Show director Kenny Ortega emailed Gongaware 11 days before Michael's death with concerns about the singer's health. An emotional Ortega read his emails to the jury. There are strong signs of paranoia, anxiety, and obsessive-like behavior. I think the very best thing we can do is get a top psychiatrist to evaluate him ASAP.
At the end of Ortega's several days of testimony, the jury actually applauded. I've never seen that in a trial before.
This picture of a frail Michael Jackson, taken less than a week before his death, was introduced into evidence. Kenny Ortega described Michael's deteriorating health as they prepared for the concerts.
The insight that he gave into what was happening with Michael in his last weeks was incredible, about his deterioration, about how he couldn't remember his lyrics to his songs, about how he wasn't getting the dances, and about the conversations with the AEG Live executives about what to do about Michael. It was very revealing and key in this trial.
Jackson's attorney called a sleep expert, Dr. Charles Seisler, to explain Michael's rapid decline in health. Dr. Seisler testified that the 60 nights of propofol infusions Conrad Murray admitted to giving the star robbed him of REM sleep, the deep sleep needed for the brain to restore itself.
Michael Jackson likely went 60 nights, 60 days, 2 months without getting any real sleep.
AEG attorneys argued Michael Jackson was a drug addict who sought out doctors who would feed his addiction, like Conrad Murray.
They brought out a long parade of doctors who had given Michael painkillers or had used propofol on Michael Jackson.
The defense used a deposition of Randy Jackson, Michael's brother, to argue that not only was Michael addicted to drugs, but he would have resisted any efforts to an intervention.
AEG Live said, if the family can't help him, if the family can't stop him, how could we as concert promoters, ever be expected to have done that. I think that was one of their strongest witnesses.
Michael Jackson's two oldest children, Prince and Paris, were on the witness list to testify until
Paris Jackson, the 15-year-old daughter of pop icon Michael Jackson, was rushed to a hospital in Los Angeles.
In the midst of the trial, near tragedy. Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, was rushed to the hospital in June after cutting her wrists in an apparent suicide attempt. Paris received medical attention and would no longer testify. However, jurors would still hear about her struggle through her mother and Michael Jackson's ex-wife, Debbie Rowe.
It was hinted at with her brother's testimony, her grandmother's testimony, but it was directly said when Debbie Rowe, her mother, testified. She said, "I almost lost my daughter. She tried to kill herself." At that dramatic moment, it was clear the jurors knew that one of the results of Michael Jackson's death was the extreme sadness of his now 15-year-old daughter and her attempt to take her life.
Prince, Michael's son, did go on to take the stand. He told jurors that his father would often cry after talking to AEG Live executives, and the pop icon feared for his life leading up to the concerts.
It was very clear that Prince felt that Michael Jackson felt really pushed to the brink by AEG executives. He didn't trust them. He didn't like them. And he heard his own father say, while sobbing, "They're trying to kill me."
Another powerful witness, the matriarch of the Jackson clan, Katherine Jackson.
Katherine Jackson said she was there to speak up for her son. She says, "He's not here to talk for himself. I'm here for that." So through Katherine Jackson, we were hearing Michael Jackson.
Michael's mother has been in court every day.
Katherine Jackson is in her 80s. She's a grieving mother. And it's clear that it was a bit contentious.
When she got her chance to go head-to-head with the defense, she took it.
She argued with the AEG Live lawyer, confronted him, and there were moments when, as her lawyer said, she tried to deal with it in a Christian-like manner, but sometimes she failed.
Through those closest to him, jurors were able to see a side of Michael Jackson hidden from the rest of the world.
His mother, Katherine Jackson, his son, Prince, and his former wife, Debbie Rowe, they all provided emotional testimony, insights into Michael's personality, his life, his fears. That was, I think, testimony that really captured the jury's attention.
Amidst the personal testimony, the jury saw intimate family photos and home video. Jurors saw Michael Jackson grow from a young boy to one of the most celebrated entertainers of our time, performing songs like the Jackson 5's "I Want You Back." And finally, to a father himself.
Hi, my name is Prince Michael Jackson, and I love my daddy. And I'm Daddy's baby, and I love my daddy. And my name is Daddy's baby.